What if I told you that 40 Anubias turned into 244 plants with just one round of propagation? In this video, I will show you exactly what happened to my Anubias Barteri from 2023 to 2024 and the mistakes I made so you don't have to. Welcome back to my Anubias Barteri series. If you haven't watched my initial video covering what happened between 2021 and 2022, make sure to click the link above. The last time I left you, I had just completed my first successful propagation using half of the Anubias Barteri I originally purchased in 2021. Based on the results of my first propagation project, I knew I was onto something. What started as small pieces of bare rhizomes from roughly 20 Anubias back in May of 2022 had grown into nearly 100 new plantlets. But at that point, I wasn't sure what the best next step was, so I did nothing. They continued growing in the plastic tote until around April or May of 2023. Eventually, I decided to transfer each plant into its own growing pod. I experimented with egg cartons and toilet paper rolls. And let me tell you this, don't bother trying this method. Within a short period of time, I ended up with a serious fly insect problem. That experiment didn't last long. Shortly after, I planted all the plantlets into proper plastic plant trays. During this same time, May of 2023, I decided to propagate the other half of my original batch of Anubias Barteri. These plants had been growing in soil since 2021, and by then, their roots had become a massive tangled mess. I had to use a pair of shears just to separate them. After rinsing off all the soil, I repeated the same propagation method that had worked so well with my first batch. First, I removed the growing tips and any side shoots. Second, I divided the rhizomes into 1 to 2 centimeter sections. Finally, I placed them on top of wet soil in a plastic container. From May through August, the rhizomes remained in the container, receiving regular misting and a daily light cycle. As you can see, it took about 2.5 months to go from bare rhizome to a healthy plantlet. On August 17, 2023, I removed them for a cleaning and transferred them into plant trays. To summarize 2023, I started with 53 rhizomes that resulted in 51 plantlets, 2 rhizome deaths, and 2 bare rhizomes. My 2024 update is fairly simple. I didn't do much beyond adding fertilizer and refreshing the water solution that they were growing in. However, fast forward to 2025, I can say that I counted 244 Anubias Barteri before starting my most recent propagation. To put things into perspective, what began with 40 Anubias in 2021 turned into 244 plants with just one round of propagation, a 610% increase. While this process took 4 years, much of that time was spent learning, experimenting, and making mistakes. Knowing what I now know, I could easily propagate these plants every 6 months and end up with hundreds more. If you would like to see how I turned these 244 plants into even more during my 2025 full overhaul and second propagation, make sure you're subscribed. That update is coming next. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I'll see you in the next one.